Yes, good evening, viewers, wherever you are, and welcome once again to this wonderful show. And today we are going to have a hell of a show. There is a lot happening in Kenya, launches after launches, a lot of politics also going on, and you are not going to miss any of that action. I want you to join me with my able panelists here. Brother Ben, karibu sana wherever you are. If you have not subscribed to Afriq 24, make sure that you do subscribe to Afriq 24. Thank you for those who have been waiting for the show. Gypsy Corner, pole sana. Ilikuwa ni a bit of technical itch. We had to work on something on the background, lakini we were not disappointed by our technical team. They have been working up and down to ensure that you have your favorite Friday night or morning show. And let us just start very fast with what is happening throughout the week. Remember that this particular show, we recap what has been happening the whole week. Good morning. Hi, I'm Mzalendo kama kawaida. Welcome to our weekly recap here on Afriq 24 in conjunction with with Brother Ben. And tonight we are going into a week that has been very fast. A lot of things have been happening, developments here and there. A
Mhm.
week defined by debate, passion, bold guesses, unexpected twists in our national political scene. We have a lot to unpack, from parliamentary suspensions to heartfelt apologies at the national prayers breakfast, emerging developments in Koimburi abduction saga to significant moves in the regional development. And joining me tonight is my good friend, Brother Ben, who will help us make sense of these events. Karibu sana, Brother Ben, to this particular edition.
Asante sana Mzalendo, na pia nataka kusema karibu sana kwa wale ambao wanatutazama. Sina mengi la kusema, na naona Gibson Kona pia amewasili pale, na najua tutakuwa na mazungumzo bora na tutakuwa naweza sema hivyo, tutakuwa na mazungumzo bora.
Kweli, bila shaka tutakuwa na mazungumzo bora. But
Eh,
let's start with a dramatic moment in our legislature. Early this week, the business of the day was suspended as a
mhm,
member of parliament redirected the session to focus on issues related to Gachagua. These decisions not only altered the normal proceedings, but also underscored the intensity of the debate surrounding
mhm.
uh, his remarks. What does this tell us about the pulse of our political discourse, Brother Ben? What is your take on this move by Parliament to halt business and discuss a personality by the name Gashagwa?
What I think is, remember when Rigathi Gachagua was being impeached, he was only given 2 weeks, and they knew very well that after 2 weeks Rigathi is going to be normal. But with the time, that one has not actualized or materialized. And if you remember, one of the statements that was making the parliament to suspend the business of the day and discuss Rigathi Gachagua was the one he made actually when he was hosted by Obina. But if you're very keen, you will find like the members of the parliament has decided not to include the entire speech what Rigathi Gachagua said, and they've just concentrated on a piece that they're saying that is going to is a trouble, and this might create violence in
Mhm.
2027. And sometimes when you look at it critically, there are quite members of parliament who has made the same remark weeks,
Yes.
and they've not suspended the parliament to discuss. It seems that they're very selective on who they choose, and I think this is informed by the fact that the influence that Rigathi Gachagua have. If I don't take you far along, remember when one member of parliament say that tutajaza tutajaza tutajaza, remember, ana tusiposhinda tutajaza. Mwingine pia akasema alikuwa anataka kuleta hoja pale bungeni kusema kwamba to increase the term of the presidency. And there's also another one who said that we know how to manufacture 24 years. So all those were speaking of the same thing. I was speaking about election. But when it comes to Rigathi Gachagua, you see how the members of parliament have decided to suspend the business and discuss about Rigathi Gachagua. Even though if we want to heal as a nation, or if we want to move on as a nation, we should not be very selective with things to do with election that can create chaos.
Mm-hmm.
If any of the leaders make such like remarks, it doesn't matter what party you are in, what close associate you are with, who or how close are you with the authorities, but you have to answer to that call. So I feel like members of the parliament were let down, especially when they suspended the business to discuss the status of Rigathi Gachagua. And you can remember there was one member of parliament who even called them out, and if you saw it well, especially the minority leader talked about monster who is going to help us to deal with this monster, and they're the same people who were castigating Rigathi Gachagua. So I think it's just politics and how it usually be played. Another thing that what I saw also this was it NCIC summoned Rigathi Gachagua, and what Rigathi Gachagua did through his lawyers, he did, I think he did write a letter to the 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 office, because it was someone to go and record a statement. you know, um, uh, Still, I'm just asking, looking at it, that commission, the majority of people who usually make those reckless remarks are the leaders. But ever since, we've never seen any leader who have been persecuted, or who has not persecuted but has been taken to court to answer to the call. They're usually being summoned, and at the end of the day, it just ends like that. So, but all in all, I hope Rigathi Gachagua can go and record statement and maybe give his side of the story. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think you're very, very right that if uh, if indeed Rigathi Gachagua had committed any offense, then Parliament court to have continued with the business of the day, and the work that the DCI or those investigative authorities ought to have summoned Rigathi to DCI headquarters. That's what they have been doing each and every time. We have
Mm-hmm.
not seen an urgent motion to discuss a personality like Rigiji to Parliament. I think that was misplaced, and it just shows you how idle this Parliament is. We've been saying that for a very, very long time, that
Mm-hmm.
they need to come up with issues that affect the people.
Yeah.
Refugee is not our business. Our business here is to make sure that each and every mwananchi, they get good education, good roads, you know, affordable affordable living standards for each and every Kenyan. So that is what Parliament ought to do every other day, even as we look into the broad-based government. Now, let me bring you to speed again before we wind up on this issue of Rigathi Gachagua. Now, Rigathi Gachagua, after all that sermon, he runs to one Kalonzo Musyoka and presents Kalonzo with a goat. Kalipatiana kambuzi hapo, hii obsession ya mbuzi ya
Mm.
hii amepeana kambuzi pale kule inaitwaje kule bana, hii Soikuru
Eh,
na Kalonzo bana
eh,
Wakamba, kama mnanisikia, wase yatia hiyo jina nimepronounce vizuri. Tutakupigia
Neguseu
baadaye.
ama Nekuseu.
Neguseu,
Yeah,
kina Yaye pale waniambie kama tumepronounce hiyo jina vizuri sana. So
yeah.
Rigiji alienda pale kwa Kalonzo kumkabidhi zawadi ya mbuzi. I think zilikuwa mbuzi kama 5 hivi.
Mm,
Amepatia Kalonzo mbuzi 5.
mm.
What do you think of this statement? Rigiji is making a political statement that, uh, and remember, Raila and William Ruto are on a Nyanza tour. Him ameenda Eastern. He's on a Eastern tour with his strong allies. So he's also sending a political message that kule Eastern tumeshikilia, we shikilia Nyanza huko, lakini mimi pia huku nimeshikilia. Ehe.
When you look at two major politics events that are happening, political events that are happening, the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga is hosting President William Ruto as they wait for the Madaraka Day, and also we have Kalonzo Musyoka hosting hosting
Gypsy kona bwana, Gypsy leo bwana, tunakuomba msamaha. Sijui tutaomba msamaha tukiwa pande gani, sijui
eh,
tutakaa pande gani. Tumekuambia ni hali ya mitambo,
yeah,
ni hali ya mitambo, na pia kuna vitu zinaitwa weather storm. Kulikuwa na
yeah.
storm, kufika pale nyumbani bwana inakuwa ni shida wakati wa storm. Unangojea hali ya hewa ikuwe ni mzuri kidogo, lakini tumeomba msamaha.
Uh,
Tutazidi kuomba msamaha mpaka uridhike. Kaka
if
dada.
if you want us also to have a national prayer day breakfast, so we can ask for forgiveness, that one is also available. We can organize for that. So
Wacha tu
as
hey,
as as I was saying earlier, so
mm.
I think remember right now the political formation are in their early stages. People are trying to see where they belong, especially right now, as we know, Kalonzo was hosting Rigathi Gachagua and other opposition leaders. And and if you look at in the traditional way, when somebody visits you with an animal, they send. There's a message that you are sending. We can look at maybe there is a reconciliation that is taking place, as you know very well, that during the 2022 general election, his Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka and Raila Odinga were on the same side as DP, ex-DP was with the President William Samoei Ruto. And during the campaigns, I think they might have uttered words that were not good enough for them. So that was one way in which Rigathi Gachagua, when he was visiting the home of Kalonzo Musyoka, then he said that, okay, I'm coming so that we can reconcile. In our reconciliation, this is what I'm giving you in exchange. And then to forgiveness, So it's a forgiveness, a silent forgiveness, That is another way of doing that. Another thing that we might think of also is just only to say, to tell, to give you a word of thank you. We are coming to visit you and we cannot come empty handed, because you will have to eat. In African customs, when you're going to visit, especially, you also have to carry something. You just go without, you're just empty handed, that one does not show good gesture. So that is what I feel Rigathi Gachagua was doing, bringing or taking animals to His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka.
Yeah. Viewers, you are tuned on to Africa 24 with the BBM show, which is on YouTube. If you have not subscribed to our 2 channels, make sure that umeenda pale ukalike na BBM, Brother Ben pale ukaenda pia Africa hapa ukalike kabisa what we are doing. Go also to our Facebook pages and follow us. Followers. Even if you don't like our content, tuambie bana ways of improving whatever we are showing here, so that we can improve. We want to give you the best quality production each and every time, and not biased. We are not going to be biased at leaning at sisi ni wale wa one term na sisi ni wale wa kumi bila break.
Ama
Tutajaribu
no
ka
term.
ama ama no term.
there's also no term. So there's one term,
There's
no
one
term,
term,
kumi bila
no
break.
term,
So
na 10 bila break.
yes,
Sasa
yeah.
sisi hatujui tutakaa wapi, tunajitafutia jina bwana, tupatie jina
Si
one term.
hatuna si hatuna jina, si tuko hapa kuongelea zote, no term, one
No
term,
term, one term, hizo
kumi
zote,
bila
hizo
break.
matamshi zote tutawaletea hapa.
Yes,
Yeah, but anyway, as we wind up story ya Gachagua, we need to wind up on a note and to see what this other camp is saying. We have got a lot of stories of Ruto's tour
yeah.
in Nyanza that is coming later in the show. But I really want to show you what this other side is also saying before, because we want a balanced kind of feeling on when you come to this Friday edition.
Tumekubaliana nayo yote. Mimi ile kitu nimetaka tu kusikia na nimefurahia sana. Kwa wale mtu, kwa ule bishop mwenye alituhubiria, alituambia mkiwa na shida, mkiwa na mgonjwa, mnatoboa mabati, mnateremsha mgonjwa yenu na anapona hapa chini. Sasa sisi tuko na mgonjwa anaitwa William Ruto. Tutatoboa mabati, tumteremshe hapa kwao Sugoi, aende nyumbani, aende asiende. William Ruto alisema ati anataka tambili. Mheshimiwa Rigathi Gachagua, Mheshimiwa Kalonzo Musyoka, kama Mheshimiwa William Ruto anataka tamu ya pili, mambo ni mbili. Either arudi shule akasome, huko ndiye atapata tamu ya pili, ama muweke jela amalizie tamu ya pili hapo ndani. Mwisho kabisa, William Ruto alisema ati mambo yake, acha na Oscar Sudi, mtu hajaenda shule mimi hapa. William Ruto alisema mambo ni matatu. Hata sisi tunataka kukubaliana mambo ni matatu. Jambo la kwanza, ajiondoe. Jambo la pili, ajinyonge. Jambo la tatu, tumuondoe. Aende asiende. Asanteni sana. Arambe!
Haya, hiyo ni yule mrengo ya one term. Hivyo ndio wanaongea, hivyo ndio wanazungumza kuhusu. Yes.
You know, one thing that we have to agree is that, like, as I said earlier, like the politics, especially the campaign for 2027 has really started, you know, and the slogans have already been coiled, you know, one term Arambe, one term, and there's also the one for two term, and there's also that one also that today I saw from Homa Bay that is two term. So when you look at the gathering, I mean, like the side of Kalonzo Musyoka and Rigathi Gachagua, you know, it's kind of like gives you a view of how it will be. I don't know whether we can go to the specifics or we can wait later. We discuss it and leave it.
No. We tunaenda tukimalizia.
So
yes.
Something that really stood out, something that I really picked from the camp of Kalonzo Musyoka was the presence of Jeremiah Kioni. You know, Jeremiah Kioni, I've never attended any meetings, especially with Rigathi Gachagua.
Mm-hmm.
But the meeting that they had the other day, especially Rigathi Gachagua was there, Jeremiah Kioni was present, and
Muya Meru alikuwa pale pia.
Yeah, I'm giving you Muya. So by Jeremiah Kioni being present in that, it sends a signal. Maybe it was blessed by Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, because, you know, Jeremiah Kioni is the Jubilee member, is the Secretary General for Jubilee.
Yes.
Yeah, so he was representing Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. That is one. Also, there was also Munya, and this was also the first time that the Munya was sharing podium with Rigathi Gachagua. Mm-hmm. If you remember, Munya also was a very close ally of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Remember when he lost against Kiraitu Murungi, and he wanted to go to court? Remember? Yeah. Then they negotiated, and what happened? He was brought into the cabinet by Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta to be as the agriculture minister. So it tells you that it is taking shape. And I know as time goes, so many people are going to join Wamunyoro, and maybe so many people also are going to join the other side. But from the look of things, it's starting to take shape. So I know as time goes by, we are going to see new events unfold. And somebody might question, we did not see this presence of Natembea. Yeah, also the presence of Matiang'i, because we always know that such like gathering, Onyonka usually speaks or attend those meetings on behalf of Matiang'i, but we did not see him in that meeting. So maybe Kioni represented Matiang'i and Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. That is my thought on Kalonzo Musyoka's meetings.
Yeah, you are right, Ben. That the politics is now taking shape, and I want to welcome Father Dan Dario, karibu sana Afrika 24, and Brother Ben Media, karibu sana Gypsy Corner, tumeshakukaribisha. Brenda Obedi, you are locked kule Kisumu, ero kamano, donjo, you said donjo dala, Douglas keep Kibogong, Brother Ben, don't be biased, Brother Ben bana, hapo unakosolewa bana wewe. Inakaa unaegemea pande ingine, watu wakisha kusoma wamekusoma.
Douglas ni rafiki yangu, ndugu yangu, namjua vizuri Douglas.
Sawa sawa, yeah. Douglas, tutakuja kwa hiyo story ya anaitwaje Kiumburi.
Kiumburi.
Bado tunarudi kwa hiyo story ya Kiumburi. Hizo ndio stories which are making headlines in the Kenyan media.
Yeah.
Turudi kwa hiyo story ya Kiumburi kidogo, tuangalie ni what is yale yanayojiri. Brother Ben,
Yeah.
Kiumburi akapatikana na kamsichana, wameenda wakajivinjari for almost many hours. Kidogo anajilaza pale kwa mkahawa like amekuwa poisoned. Wabunge wale wanaegemea pande ya Kenya Kwanza, they try to of course this is our colleague, wacha tuende tumuone as directed by the speaker. Wanaenda pale Karen Hospital, wanaanza kwanza pa ile hospitali alikuwa admitted,
Yeah.
kuuliza hey nurse, daktari, what happened, nini. Of course information ya mgonjwa huwezi patiwa kisheria.
Yeah,
Haya, kidogo wakaenda pale Karen, pia wanajaribu kutafuta kufanya upelelezi. Hey, this is our colleague, but unajua unafanya upelelezi ukikuwa na another side of the story. Unataka kujua kama hii ni ukweli ama ni uongo. Yeah. So wameenda pale Karen, wamezuiwa kuona Juja MP.
Yeah.
Na wakarudi wakapeana ripoti kwa bunge ya kuwa wamezuiwa kuona huyo. Kidogo DCI anatoka na ripoti, anasema enyewe huyu jamaa, hii story ni alijiabduct. Sasa wabunge wamefika mahali sasa wanajiabduct. Wanajiabduct. Inakumbusha ile story ya huko bana. Huko alijiua, mara akisha kufa akajimwagia acid, alafu akajitupa pale Gotalila. Ninaitwa serikali.
Unajua siasa zetu ni siasa ambao ziko na sarakasi, ni siasa ambao kwa Kiswahili tunasema kwamba tunaigiza. Hatuishi katika maisha ya kihalisia, ama tufanyi siasa katika maisha ya kihalisia. Vitu hatufanyi kuhalisia, kwa sababu ukiangalia sasa venye maneno kinaendelea mpaka inafika mahali ambapo labda the MCA alikuwa anashikwa kwa sababu labda walikuwa na kiongozi, hao wote ni maviongozi, lakini namna alivyoshikwa pia unajua lazima uulize swali, kwa sababu ni yule mtu. Kama kwa kweli ni kawaida, ndio jambo ambalo bado sana sana inatushindwa, something that all sometimes make me I still don't understand. Let's say like how if at all there's an information, you have information, I think you should be summoned. Yeah, but if you go to Kangata's the governor for Murang'a, is it, yeah, the way he wrote in his page about the lady, he was supposed to launch another project. I think there was a project that was going on, and how it usually goes, you know, until now palilifika ni hata kwamba gari ambayo alitumia inasemekana na yeye mwenyewe bado hajapatiwa nafasi kuongea, si ndio?
Yeah.
Sasa jambo ambalo sisi tuko nayo ni kwamba matukio kama haya yakitokea,
Yeah.
unapata kwamba siasa inachukua kipaumbele, ambapo now we cannot get the real issue because the politics will take the center stage, because this is a member of parliament. Even if you listen to how some of his colleagues were talking in the parliament, like this guy has abducted himself. Yeah. Instead of even waiting for the agencies to do their work. And when you go to the police, the police also keeps on giving updates each and every time, Yeah. And I feel like we are now missing the point, Either we are not getting the true meaning whether he abducted himself or he was abducted based on the stories that are coming out. The politics has taken the center stage of it all. And we are moving away from the real issue, whether it is abduction by self-abduction or he was abducted by unknown people.
Wow.
Yeah. So
all right.
We are missing that point. So that link now, because like everybody now, because there are members of parliament who are agreeing that their colleague was abducted. Yeah. And there are those members of parliament who believe he abducted himself. And you could even, I don't know whether you had a time to watch, there was a show where there was a bitter exchange between members of parliament.
Yes.
Yeah. So it is usually not quite much very, 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 very easy to know. And they leave the public in so much confused. Yeah. Yeah. So that is something that sometimes we need. I think like all the relevant authorities, be it the members of parliament, they should speak with one voice, or they should lead the authorities to do the work. Yeah. But I don't think somebody cannot abduct himself and create all those inflicting wounds. I don't know. Maybe let's wait for the report of authorities,
Yani wewe unaambia watu wakucharaze mangumi wakuchape, alafu na wakuwekee gasi ya sumu
ile sumu kali,
ile sumu kali, na ungekufa je?
Nakwambia siasa zetu ni siasa za sarakasi, kila kitu kinawezekana.
Hii siasa bwana, hii siasa bwana, hii siasa tumekuwa watu wa sarakasi sana. Vipindi ni mingi, inaitwa vipindire. Hiyo ni vipindi. Bado tuko kwa kipindi ya siasa. Tumetoka katika ile mrengo wa inaitwaje, mrengo wa Kenya, mrengo wa Gachagua. Hii chama ya Gachagua inaitwaje, DCP. Tumetoka katika mrengo wa DCP, na mrengo wa DCP inaleta shida sana. Hebu tukimbie kabisa mbio tuende Safari Park Hotel. Hii wiki tu Safari Park Hotel, there was a prayer meeting kule Safari Park, na hii prayer meeting kila wakati tunaambiwa to attend hii prayer meeting, na bwana rais pale aliomba msamaha mara mingi sana, and the National Prayer Days it became a prayer day for apologies. Yeah. And our concern is that this prayer breakfast meeting, do they result into anything tangible? The National Prayer Breakfast provided us with yet another surprising twist. President Ruto took center stage to offer apologies concerning sensitive issues involving Uganda, Tanzania, challenges affecting our children. In a parallel note, Beatrice Elachi brought social media under the lens in our prayers, signaling how technology and faith are intersecting in our public life. These gestures, of course, certainly evoke questions about accountability, reconciliation. Brother Ben, how do you interpret these expressions,
Unajua jambo la kwanza, first, when we will know them by the kind of fruit they produce. That's how you know them. If they are producing the red fruits, then you know this is a family of redness. When they produce yellow, that is the family of yellow. But now, when you come to prayers, one of the things that when you pray,
Yes.
the pray is when you pray is a form of healing, you know. Yeah, you might pray for so many things. People do pray, especially when they go before the Almighty God. There are those who pray for forgiveness. There are those who pray for healing. There are those who also pray that they want to get revelation. That the revelation, like I want God to give me revelation. But now, when you come to the prayer that happened, you know, and where we had the forgiveness, there are few things that are really picked, and the things that I picked was from the preacher. If you listen to the preacher, from his preaching, the word of God that he delivered that day, that sermon, it talked about some of the things that the leaders should practice. First of all, he talked about the love, because like they said that something that the Gen Z need love. Yeah, we will also have to know that the Gen Z are people who are now grown up. They don't have that Gen Z are people who are smarter than us. Yeah. So you should offer that platform to listen to them. And one of the things that will always pop up anytime there's a foreigner, or there's a foreigner that is invited in the country and the president is seated with them, that president will keep on talking about, and will find each and every time he will find answers, is the issue of Gen Z. Is something that president will not avoid anytime there's a visitor in the country. And that issue of Gen Z will pop in a different way that the president could not or cannot expect. Because from that preaching, I don't think, for me, that there was intention for the apologizing and asking for forgiveness. Because when do you ask for forgiveness? Yeah. When do you ask for forgiveness? Because president asked for forgiveness, which is it is true. Yeah, it is true that you need to get that forgiveness. But when do you ask for that forgiveness? Yeah, and you have to accept. There's that acceptance that there was something wrong. And after accepting, then you forgive. Then we start to reconcile. How do we reconcile? Then we can reconcile by having one-on-one conversation with you. And I ask you, Mzalendo, I wronged you in this way. Can you please forgive me? And let's start to work again. But you know, this was a public president apologized and asked for forgiveness in public. But there are those mothers who lost their children in a mysterious ways. Somebody like Rek Masai. Do you think that forgiveness can go deep into in her heart? There are those who, especially those who are still maybe in the Kenyatta hospital, are still fighting the pain and the wounds. Will the forgiveness will help? So, because the people who argue that what president could have done after asking for forgiveness, you could have gone to the Kenyatta National Hospital, or you could have gone to those hospitals where these people are and tell them, okay, there was a misstep and we are starting to work again. We are going to foot your bills, and that's how we are going to work. You know, so that's how some people felt. But you know, everybody is feeling it the different way. There are those who felt that, okay, the president did a good thing, because this is the second president apologizing after Moi. Moi also apologized when he was almost about leaving the office. You know? Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
Moi alisema kama niliwakosea munisamee. Kama nilifanya nini.
Njiru, I'm the guest. I don't have the link. Njiru is asking for the link.
Njiru, but I've sent him the link, and each and every time I send Njiru the link, I don't know where he goes to look for the link. And Njiru, angalia hapo, where is he at? I don't know which platform he's watching from.
I think he's at ako kwa platform yangu.
Oh, is at your platform. Njiru, tafadhali ingia pale Afrika utapata hiyo link. Na bado nimeituma katika hizo platform. Brother Ben, you can copy what you have and share it with him. Mali yuko. Guys, you are watching Afriq24, and today we are giving you a recap of the whole week, what has really happened. Thank you, those who have been joining. If you have not subscribed, if you have not liked our channel, make sure that you do subscribe to Afriq24 and Brother Benson Media. Hapo Njiro, I hope that umepata link sasa, you can join the conversation. Yeah, Brother Ben, there was a lot of things that happened after that prayer breakfast meeting.
Yeah.
And a very quick response came from one wa Mushomba. Wa Mushomba be haraka upesi, yeye akuchelewa. Wa Mushomba akuchelewa. And what did wa Mushomba say? Wa Mushomba said that too little, too late. Wa Mushomba rejects Ruto's apology. Yes, huyo ni mwanaharaka, huyo ni activist. Na
No, ni mbunge pia.
ngoja kwanza sijamaliza Brother Ben. Huyu bwana ni mwanaharakati. Mwanaharakati tena ni mbunge wa kule Ngudunguri. Na huyu mama, kwa nini nampenda sana? Nampenda kwa sababu moja. She would not comment quite oftenly on political issues, but once she opens her mouth, what comes from her mouth is substance. Now ukiangalia constituency yake,
Yeah.
wale wanaona wanapenda kuenda kule Kidunguri, Kiambu. This lady, what she has done, oh my God, mimi sidhani kama kuna mbunge kama huyu mama. Unaona ile feeding program ako nayo, mpaka watoto wako na masaa, wanaenda wanapewa chakula, wanaweka chap digital. Unadhani uko Marekani bwana?
We will look for her.
And this lady, we need to look for her bana. Bali kuna watu wanafanya kazi mzuri, lazima wapongezwe. Yani huyu ni mtu, hata ukiniambia tunamchagua rais kesho, nitakwambia correct, because those are the kind of programs that you will see in your constituency if Wamushomba becomes the president. Congratulations once again, Wamushomba. This is coming from Afriq editorial team pamoja na BBM. Tunafanya kazi mzuri sana na Mungu azidi kubariki. Ingawaji umetafutishiana na bwana rais kuhusu matamshi yake, that is your opinion and you've got the right of that opinion. What do you make of it, Brother Ben?
As you say, that everyone is entitled to their opinion, but I think I think like the reason why she might be saying that it is too late because it came as a reminder. But if it was a self-confessed that you decided one day by yourself, I don't think it could have been too late. And there's somewhere I'm agreeing with Gibson Corner, and I saw it. Ruto regretted acknowledging the offense directed to the Tanzania president and Uganda by the Kenyans. It was right for him to apologize. Yes, it was right for him to apologize. But you know what happened again? When you look at what transpired, especially in the parliament of Uganda and the parliament of Tanzania and Kenya, it was the online war that happened. But immediately the Tanzanian members of parliament started and now criticizing the Kenyans, especially. Then the Kenya also had to rebuttal. But I think sometimes they took it now to become a country and a country, Yeah, so I think that's why the president had to apologize of what happened. And remember, he was also hosting some leaders from Tanzania. So he had to play safe.
Yeah, you are right. Whatever the president was saying on that particular day, definitely it was coming from his heart. Unajua Ruto, hata kama kuna saa zingine mimi nadhani hivi, unajua, and correct me, there
Mm.
are people in Kenya who are above the president. Unaweza amini hiyo? I think there are people who are above the president. They make decisions on his behalf. Decisions zingine hata president anastukia zilifanyika tu.
Kwani mtu amemwandikia ama nini?
Ah, we have the head of state, but we have somebody who is above the head of state.
Who is that? Apart, God is the one above the head of state.
Boss, wacha mambo ya God hapa bwana, hapa tuko mambo ya dunia. Wewe ushaingia mambo ya spirituality, mimi niko mambo ya dunia.
Eh,
Above William Ruto there is the
mhm.
deep state.
Oh,
The
okay.
people who decide wewe ndio utakuwa rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya.
Eh,
Hao jamaa wako, msidanganywe ati hao jamaa wako. These are the guys who make these decisions. And I think ukichukua Biblia
eh,
na uswear to
mm,
protect the constitution na useme siri za serikali hautawahi toa nje, basi ni
yeah,
hivyo.
eh.
Umeshikwa mateka.
Oh, okay.
Umeshikwa mateka. You have got no obligation unless you are one rigiji.
Eh.
Unless
So,
wewe ni rigiji. Rigiji zake zinakuja in hand, yani yeye ajali atazimwaga kumwaga.
yeah.
Anyway, tumemaliza hiyo story ya Wamchomba
No,
prayer.
and you ask something about Beatrice Elachi and her prayer.
Oh yeah, Beatrice Elachi.
You know,
Yeah.
I tend to disagree with her at some point, and there are some areas that I agree with her in her prayers. There are those prayers that he prayed, but now where I have a point of departure with her is about the social media. You know, uh, there are situations whereby because maybe let me reframe, because you know immediately after that prayer he was hosted in one of the national TV stations, and she talks of so many things, and my question was like, you're a leader, and if you're a leader and based on the comment that you say simtoke, you know, remember that comment. What angered people was the comment he made, especially at where they were in the church with the president, you know, because like your people are telling you something. You are our representative. We are not feeling well. Can you please do something about it? But what do you tell the people that you are representing? Kama munaona Kenya ni mbaya, sufanye nini? Utoke. You know, and that what angers people, you know. And now when these people are now coming after you, you feel that okay, now the social media should be regulated. You know, I don't think that should be the case, because you find that they feel that if they come, especially when it touches on you as a leader, you feel now you have to regulate it, you know, because pain is a two-way traffic. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if like she was saying, like some of those images that they're sending to her phone, even those messages, you can take it upon yourself, especially with those numbers, and find justice. Let these people brought to book if people are sending you insulting messages, you know. And one thing that also I think like we should realize and should agree, the age where we've come, it is a technological, this is a technology era, a tech era. Yeah. Yeah. And the tech will continue to to get new do I call it new technology? You know, the technology will continue to grow, come up with new things. You know, remember those who are playing the games, there's a PS4, then there's PS5. They doesn't take long in the market. Even the phones that we have, even you remember the vehicles, the vehicle comes, the another one comes 2025, they only introduce the Bluetooth part of it. That is technology. The technologies keep on changing. So for how long will you keep on changing those laws as the technology grows? Yeah. So I think like they should weigh those options and say that what is the best way, and instead of even talking about technology, come up with laws that can make the economy to work.
Angalia Douglas, mimi sasa, hao ndio mimi sasa nashangaa nao, ndawajibu namna gani? Mzalendo, don't compare Githunguri constituency with Baringo. Not our land is not arable. We do not have coffee, even milk, boss. Lakini CDF, ngaf CDF mnapata shule kujenga tu shule bado mna mashule hazina dirisha, mna mashule hazina dirisha. How does coffee come in there? Muna mashule hazina dirisha. Tengeneza hata elimu ya watoto kwanza, elimu
Mwambie
peke yake.
Apollo
Elimu.
nani? Apollo professor. It's called the professor. The professor, the guy who usually gives us the Bomet giving comparison. I don't know his
Ya
name.
kale wewe, yeah, professor, tafuta huyo mtu wa professor, na anawapatiaga uondo vile mnakaaga huko kama wanyama. Nyinyi watu wa Bomet, watu wa Baringo, tafadhali hii mchezo muache. Elect leaders who can make a difference. Siku hizi kuna technology.
Yes.
Deserts are being transformed. Desert yenyewe inakuwa transformed into an agricultural place where it can feed the people. I have got wewe Mwanza kuja hapa, I have got a program that I will show you that we transformed Garissa huko, na wamama wanapata mamboga wanakula, na ni mali ilikuwa ni kavu.
Yeah.
Siku hizi wanapata chakula, wanakula vizuri sana huko Garissa, huko Marsabit. Wewe
Yeah.
unateta hapa juu ya Baringo. Baringo is how many hours to Nairobi? Yeah, please peleka hiyo Douglas. Next time kuja na kitu ingine, hapana kuja na porojo kama hiyo. Wabunge mko nao ni bure kabisa, wanakula tu hela zako hapo, alafu wanakudanganya ati our land sijui what. There is technology now. You can harvest rain water, you can drill, you can do so many other things. And remember, the county government, Baringo County,
Yes.
inapokea bilioni za pesa za hela. Haya, apart from bilioni ya hela, MP ako na ngaf CDF, senator ako na allocation, MCA ako na allocation,
Women rep.
women rep hata kununulia zile wanaosichana zile vitu za ndani bana. Hiyo pia mnataka muende Githunguri mfundishwe Hapana, wacheni porojo Baringo constituency.
And where did Njiru go?
Nonsense.
Au kutumia Njiru link?
Njiru nimemtumia link, hata nikamwekea disclaimer juu akikuja hapa yeye ni hard politics. Njiru nimemwekea disclaimer, hata hapo inakimbia. Njiru, karibu katika Afriq show. Tunakuhitaji hapa mara moja. Tunakuhitaji hapa mara moja hapa, tutuambie umepotea wapi. Mzalendo, take it easy with my friend Douglas. He is a diasporian. No wonder hao ni watu wamepotea huku nje, waendagi nyumbani, alafu anasema vile uliwacha Baringo, vile uliwacha Kenya. Kenya imebadilika sana ndugu yangu. Mambo ya ugatuzi imebadilisha nchi ya Kenya, lakini kama uko na wale wabunge na magavana wazembe, take that opportunity and take the knowledge that you are learning in diaspora, bring it back to your people so that you can improve their lives. That is the most important thing that you can do for your community.
Okay.
Yes, Kizito pia namwona hapo. Kizito KE is a very funny land. They know too much, and they end up electing people like Nuru Okanga.
No, Nuru Kanga is not coming from Baringo. Nuru Kanga is coming from
Nuru Baringo, bana. This is also another one from diaspora, bana. No, he's giving an example. I think Kizito is giving an example. He's just giving an example.
Oh, okay.
I think that was on a light note.
A lighter
On a
note.
light note, wacha tukunywe kamaji kidogo, Tukifikiria the next topic tutaenda pande gani, juu kuna mengi sana tujaongea. Tunataka tuelekee kule sehemu za kama kawaida Nyanza. Brother Ben, tunaelekea sehemu za Nyanza. I know you've got a lot to say about Nyanza. We have to go to Nyanza in a short while. We'll be back. Yes, karibuni tena sana. That was just bumper, but karibu sana. This is Afriq24. If you're watching us for the first time, this show comes every other Friday from 7 o'clock Kenyan time. In US Eastern time ni midnight, kuanzia midnight saa saba saa tisa utatupata kwenye hii show na brother Ben. We recap the whole week, the politics that has been happening. If you're here for the first time, give us a like, give us a thumbs up if you like this particular edition of Afriq 24 and BBM. So karibuni sana. We have covered almost half of the show, but we need to shift gears very, very fast so that we capture other moments. Now, turning to a case that has captured the attention of many people in Kenya right now is yes, the land donation. The land donation in Nyanza development tour by President William Ruto. In a constructive turn, Raila made headlines by donating land, a gesture that speaks volumes. Raila Odinga ametoa shamba kule ya ekari ngapi? Ekari tano. Ekari tano, a gesture that speaks to the ideals of community building and renewal. This is a new Raila, not too far behind. President William Ruto has embarked on a development tour in Nyanza region. This event presents us with, a juxtaposition of gestures that are both symbolic, practical, hinting at the future of the trajectory of our politics. Hii ndio the new mrengo and regional development. Brother Ben, do you see these initiatives as part of a larger trend toward inclusive progress, broad-based progress?
You know, before we talk about the land that was donated by Raila Amolo Odinga, which to me, it is not true. It is untrue based on some facts that we have. But like, if you look at the pattern, especially what is happening in the Nyanza tour, especially this time round, there's a similarity with that one of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. I don't know whether you've seen that. This the last one that the Ruto is having towards the ceremony that will take place in Homa Bay. Remember when Uhuru Kenyatta immediately disagreeing with President William Ruto, when he was touring Nyanza, they used to be in one car. Yeah, most of the time they used to be in one car. Okay, all right. Thank you. None further mengia. So, what happens? And there's that similarity. We saw it today. Yes. You know, we saw it today. And when you listen to the speeches that were made by the leaders, it tells you that the campaign has started, especially for President William Ruto. He has started his campaign, and that cementing of the broad-based government past 2027, because even Mbadi, the CS for Treasury, say that he will not vie for any elective seats. Yeah, so that one tells you something. There's also something that I pick, and it's something that President William Ruto will capitalize on. Remember, when President William Ruto was campaigning in 2022, he went to Mount Kenya, and his gateway pass was the church. And it was not building the churches, and the churches were being built for the downtrodden, wale mama mboga. And the one for Nyanza, is about, the entrance is about, you've never been in government. Yeah? Yeah. The resources has never been distributed equally. You've suffered that. This is the first time now you are enjoying the government. You know that?
Yes.
So he will always make sure that when he come to Nyanza, the promises of allocation of funds, allocation of projects that are going to take place, and remind them. Remember, even he said that the technical college, he said that it was supposed to be built in 10 years. But what happened?
All right. Hold your thought, Brother Ben. Let us welcome Father Dan Dario. Father, welcome to Africa 24. I'm meeting you for the first time. I normally see you
On
on
the
the
comment
comment
section.
on the comment section. Welcome to this wonderful channel, and feel at home. Tell us where you've been. You've been in Vatican. You can tell us how the white smoke is taking you with our new father who has just been, uh, crowned as the Pope. Yeah, karibu sana, and feel at home. Salimia wananchi, tell us where you are, and make this place your home.
Asante sana. I just want to say hello and congratulations. Sometimes I join in when I'm late to go to bed, but I wanted to comment something that you said about donating land.
Yes.
That was Kierere Aruko. That land was not donated. That land is a joint venture, Raila and Shabab from Mombasa. They started that thing last year because they are moving the molasses plant from Kisumu to that area. So they are building those homes so that people can get in. It's a company investment. So Kierere ya Ruto alifanya haraka haraka akazungumza. Then the other thing is Ruto is working very hard to have the best political optics that he can have from Luo Nyanza because he has lost the central part. He has lost part of Kisii, of course, was part of Nyanza before. So he has to make all the efforts possible to capture the imaginations of the country and make sure, even if Raila says today, this is what I need, he will have to provide. Why? Because he is the only help that he needs if he wants to run for the next term. So without him, he cannot do anything. So therefore, he has to bend the knee to Raila in whichever way. And even if Raila says, I want to see you tomorrow, that man will just fly there. Why? Because he needs him so much that without him, he cannot survive. So therefore, what we are seeing is political high-tech optics. And they will continue like that. And the other political optic that I'm seeing is the consolidation of particular leaders with the man we call Wamunyoro, Gashagwa, or any other name you want to call him. Many people have feared from that region, the central part, Eastern. I grew in Eastern. I know Eastern far much better than I know where my parents came from. For example, the other day, Kidura Kendiki was in Embu. He just provided buses to ferry people to the function, but the majority of the people did not board the buses. They took the money and walked home. So the pictures we got was very shameful for him in Embu. Embu has become terrible for Kindiki, and Kindiki comes from Eastern. Meru, Embu, and Kamba, that's Eastern region. So Ukambani is gone. 3 counties. Embu is gone. Where is he going to lay his head? He can only find solace in Raila. He cannot go to Northeastern because there's no kingpin from Northeastern. Those people sit down and they decide. You become the governor, you become the senator, you become the MCA. He has no one person to reach out to in Northeastern. So he cannot make a venture to Northeastern. He cannot send the MP, for example, to Northeastern for development. Who are you? Who is connecting you to the people? He has nobody. Duale has no grounds to do that connectivity. You can bring him for a Barasa, a Larry, whatever it is, but he cannot connect because those men are the ones who sit and decide. And usually they wait until the end. When they see where the wave of the government is going, that's where they go. So he cannot do much on that part. The coast, they are very quiet.
Yeah.
And you cannot decide where they are. They are quiet because they have been cheated before. So they are going slowly. Wanasema kwa Kiswahili, wanapima kwa umbali, waone ni wapi tutaegemea. Huyu ambaye anapiga mdomo mtu ako kwa serikali, ako kwa wizara, lakini anaweza kutwa hata kesho tukimtegemea sana. Sasa wamekimya. The same thing the governors in central Kenya have gone mute. Why? Because they don't want to implicate themselves because some of them will be running for the second time.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them that I know for sure is not going to get it is my sister from Embu. Karinda cannot get it. That one is gone and gone for good.
Wow.
And therefore she has to be mute. She cannot do much. And the others, they fear. If they go contrary to Gashawa wave, they are not going to survive. So the easier thing to do, let us keep quiet so that we cannot say much. Look at what happened to the musicians who went to meet Kendike. They went there with a good heart. Maybe some of them were told, come, we give you something. But when they got out, everybody from central Kenya said, Toti Kwenda, we don't want you anymore. And they stepped back. And of course, the good thing with my friends from central Kenya and eastern, there's a msemo wanasema, we cannot bury the elephant together with the tusks. Lazima tung'oe ndio tumuzike. So whether Ruto comes with money, watang'oa hizo pembe, lakini watamuzika tu.
Wow.
That's a good thing with them. They don't care. If it's money, mbesa ne mbesa. Tutikwenda Mount Maku, netwatigana namo. That's okay. They are just done with you. They
Hey,
will take
brother.
the money and dump you. They will come and they will smile very nicely. But when they have decided they don't want you, they don't want you. That's why you see the musicians are crying. Some of them are saying, please, we were just invited. Some of them never even wanted to be seen. Look at what happened in Kisii, in Zaire Janda's constituency. They invited so many, but the tents were empty. And that was Kendike there with the members of parliament bringing what they call empowerment. If you can recall some times back, when a Kisii man stands and says, I want the presidency, they can deny everybody else and stand with that man to a man. That's what they did to Nyachai. When Nyachai was cheated by Raila Amolo Odinga, they agreed. The money was put in the car, Pocho 504, and they had signed the agreement. He took the money, disappeared with some ambassadors. At 3 in the evening, he comes and says, Kibaki Tosha. That man can geuka anybody anytime if the deal is good. So therefore, even the one who is depending on him so much, he may discover things are not so good. Because remember, in year 2022 elections, Luos came out 66% to vote for the. Ask yourself, if Raila will not be in the ballot and Ruto will be in the ballot, Raila was 66%. What will happen? Hata kama watajaribu kujaza, It is not going to work. So they have to recalibrate and see what they can do. So they have a headache. Both sides, they have a headache. If, for example, they say Kalonzo is a flag bearer, some people will say, that man, we have known him to be this way, that way, and if our man is not there, why should I go to vote? But if they have to consolidate the way they have started and say, okay, you people agree to follow your man, whether he will be the president, a candidate, or not, then people say, we shall do that. You people from TC, whether your man is a candidate or not, you follow him where he goes, so that people can consolidate. And also, they have to be careful because Gen Zs and the other young people, millennials and Gen X, some they just want to see a man they can trust or a woman they can trust. So they must present somebody, not only a performer, not only a man who can be trusted, but a man who brings hope, not the same cadre of persons whom they have known for ages. I have an advantage of having lived in Embu, Meru, and Kirinyaga for the longest time of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And when you interact with those people, Embu also cuts across to Kambani area, where Kalonzo comes from. Kalonzo has a very beautiful house, but to get to his home, you go through impoverished villages. If you look, even that road they used to go to his place is terrible, and he has been there for ages. Some people say, if that's the kind of person, I don't think it's going to transform anything. So therefore, people have to be careful when people are starting to get enlightened so much, they start to think critically. So that group must be very critical of the person they bring to that position of being president, your candidate. Otherwise, they will lose also because then they bring somebody who cannot be trusted. Then
All
the other
right.
part, people have doubts on three persons. The first person they have doubts with is Natembea. Is anashambulia watu wa kwake, anashambulia Ruto, alafu anakimya. Sasa watu wanashindwa, unataka kiti, unasapoti nani, umesimama wapi, weke wapi, where are you? Na wanasema wakati alienda kushikwa, majamaa walikuwa wamebeba milioni kadhaa kwa gari, walikuwa wanataka kuenda kuweka kwa nyumba yake, zikaibiwa zote, wakati walinyang'anya, walivunja hizo magari. So huyo wanamtatu wanasema, where do we categorize him? Is he consolidating the region to give them to whoever will give him a good deal, or he has made a stand? He does not want anything to do with Ruto and is going to either stand or support another candidate.
All right.
So they don't know where to put him. The other person they doubt
Yeah.
is the activities of this young man called Salasia. They're
Oh, so
asking,
last year.
what is his business? PK Salasia, the Mumias East MP,
Mm-hmm.
the young man who was seen on camera smoking bang, asking where can we put, what is his business? He's under Wamalwa in his party, but he's always alone. He was in Northeastern campaigning. Then the question is, what is the project here? What is he aiming at? They cannot put him in a place. Are you with the Wamunyoro? Are you with the Kalonzo? Are you alone? Are you with Wamalwa? Where are you? Where do we put you? So they are still struggling with that.
All right.
The other persons they are
Yes.
struggling is the young people. They have not found focus. They have not said categorically what they want. They are divided in some form. Some are saying we are the young force, we have an alternative here. The other are saying you must join a party over here. The other are saying we are affiliated with this person. The other are saying we don't want anybody. We want a new blood. Then the last person people don't know where that person will go to is Wanjigi and Otieno Willis. Even when you watch their conversations, you ask yourself, where are these people? They are not clear whether they are standing with the young people to the end, or they are standing alone, or they are going to Wamunyoro, or they are just confused. So therefore, such as some of the things we have to think deeply and say, how can we have a clear way forward? The only
Or
one thing I don't want to see Kasongo as a president. That one I'm certain about.
all right, Father Dario. That was a very good, elaborate picture of where we stand. I think the next question I would be asking you, where do you stand? You have always told us huyu hujui yako wapi, na wewe mwenyewe kura yako iko wapi? Wewe
Ameshakuambia wewe.
wewe
Mi,
mwenyewe
mi, mi, mi,
ametupeleka huku akatupeleka huku, lakini tunataka
let, let,
kujua
um,
yeye mwenyewe kura yake iko wapi.
I want to ask you.
Amesema tu moja, yeye
Uh,
hataki William Ruto, lakini tunataka kujua yeye atapigia nani kura. Ona.
hiyo
Mm.
hiyo okay, sawa
Hiyo ni
sawa.
swala muhimu sana, hiyo ni swala muhimu sana. But anyway, I like your insight. Some of the things that you have asked, those questions will be answered by the panelists here and those who are part of.
Let me answer that.
Yeah.
1 minute.
Yeah.
Kura yangu, because I was brought up in Embu, that's the eastern part. Kura yangu itaenda kwa mtu ambaye watachagua ni wa Munyoro, that group.
Okay.
If they bring a good candidate, that's where my vote is. My vote cannot go to Wanjigi. My vote cannot go to Kasongo. My vote cannot go to Gashagwa. My vote cannot go to Munya or Wamalwa.
Now, unaona, you see, I like the point that you have brought a very interesting perspective of politics in a very simple way. You support the group of Gashagwa, and this is where the confusion is. Gashagwa is not running for president. In other words, that is what you are saying. If Gashagwa is running for president, then you will not vote for him as a person. But so long as he remains in that coalition and his party, and they select a different candidate, apart from those you have mentioned, and you have got your reservations about them, you'll tell us in another segment in our show, you've got reservations about those other candidates.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I've been telling people all the time. The politicians are dwelling around Wamunyoro. Wamunyoro probably is not even the candidate that should be focused on. They need to focus on the real candidates. And I think that confusion is good. That
Yeah.
you keep on guessing who is coming for presidency. Brother Ben, what do you make of this? Even if we have been taken aback by
No,
father.
just kumshukuru tu kwa sababu about the land donation, we had already talked about it in the earlier yesterday, and the company is Gulf Cup Real Estate.
Yes.
And the master plan, it was on 18th of January 2025. That's when the master plan was launched, and the Right Honorable Prime Minister Ndanyang Nyong'o was there. So it was not affordable. He did not donated it for affordable housing. This is a private entity between Gulf Cup and the family of Raila Molo Odinga. That is one.
Wow. And
Then,
Ben,
yeah.
just not even 30 seconds
Mhm.
of your time. You that there's a clip that has been circulating on social media.
Yeah.
This young man analyzed this issue of the land and said that this land, William Ruto is building houses for Raila Odinga. Is
No.
building houses for Raila Odinga to pick up rent. Now
No.
you see, this is what if this information does not go out the way it is, the way you are explaining it,
Mhm.
majority at the end of the day, when that gentleman and Raila Odinga's family will start collecting rent there, what will people say?
It's just like lack of information. You know, one thing that usually happens in politics, there's with the internet again, is that people usually pick it the way it comes without looking at it. Because immediately I heard about that, I had to give a call to majority of two journalists whom I know was supposed to give me the correct information. Then when they told me that, then we had to go and check. Then we saw LV Marina, and I say, okay, it's the same thing that was launched on January. Yeah, and if you see the Gulf Cup, they've done good some properties even in Mombasa. You know, so that's the information. Even when you look at Makasembo, something that also people do not know about Makasembo. Makasembo was not built by the housing levy. Makasembo is built by Lab Fund.
Mm-hmm.
It was signed between Lab Fund and the county government of Kisumu. That was in March, I think in March 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the levy that is being collected on the payslip did not go to Makasembo.
Mm-hmm.
The projects was supposed to cost 3 billion. And it was signed between the exact, I think the owner of the Lab Fund was by then was the David Koros, I think, and His Excellency Governor Nyong'o.
Mm-hmm.
And I tend to believe that the people who are going to get those houses, they will get certificates of lease. Yeah, I tend to believe so, but I will inquire. But they will have to get the certificates of lease. So those two projects, none of them is affordable housing that have been funded by the affordable house levy. No, none of them.
All right, brother Ben, wacha tucheze clip moja hapa, Raila akiwa kule na brother yake brother yake.
Kama sisi wote turudi nyuma hivi, everybody. Nela village. Boys, kutoka back to
Ona hapo wakubwa wanaona paya pia wanaita pia ama ni paya mwalimu Julia pia atatuambia hiyo pronunciation. Homa Bay is a very nice place to go and to have your holidays. We have got a white sandy
this is the main one.
Anyway, wacha tutoe hao watu bwana, wanatupigia kelele hapo na mambo ya paya na nini. Hiyo hapo unaona pale bwana Ruto amelaunch hiyo pia wanaita paya, si tunaitaga paya na Kijaluo paya. hapo hiyo hapo paya wale wananijua kabisa, na hapo ilikuwa ni mahali tunaenda kujivinjari jioni hivi. Kama tumemaliza tuko bado vijana mbarubaru pale, tulikuwa tunaenda na warembo, tunakaa pale tukiangalia, tunaenda fishing hapo kidogo, but it was a very narrow dilapidated pier until William Ruto's government did something. They have done something wonderful for the people of Homa Bay. And if you asked something earlier, Ben, hiyo paya inafanyaga kazi gani? Kuna meli ilikuwa inatoka pale kule Kisumu, inaleta watu mpaka pale wasafiri, tena kutoka hapo inaenda mpaka Mbita Point, na pia inaenda mpaka huko sehemu za Uganda, Migingo na kila kitu hapo. So that place is very very important. Na hapo kando kumekuwa na factory moja inaitwa Capital Fish, which imekufa kwa miaka mingi sana. It's something that I was thinking the governor of Homa Bay would have revived it. Wakuwe na factory ya kuprocess fish pale. Now that they have an airport, they have a pier, they have everything. They need to have some industry that is moving things in Homa Bay. Homa Bay as it is right now, there are no industries. Nyumba hizo Bwana Rais ameweka hapo, hizo si industry. We need industries in places like Homa Bay. The industry that we have in Homa Bay, industry ile iko peke yake ni moja ya sukari, na inaitwa sukari industry Homa Bay County, na ni ya mtu binafsi. So
is in Dewa constituency,
yeah,
right?
it is in Dewa constituency. So earlier on there was also a lot that the
watu ya kwamba hapa najua ni kwa Bwana Odhiambo Mbai ndio aliyekuwa mwenyekiti wa Devolution Committee, aliuawa hadharani mchana mbele ya watoto yake kwa sababu alikuwa amesimamia mambo ya ugatuzi. Ugatuzi ndio iliua Odhiambo Mbai. Kwa sababu leo kwanza nasema hii barabara nakwenda kufungua hii Odhiambo Mbai Road. Lakini vile vile nimesema mambo ya ugatuzi nataka ifanye kazi. Kwa sababu mimi nilikuwa nimwambia mimi sikufurahi sana hii kuona hii ati ni sub-county administration ambayo inaleta provincial administration nyuma tena. Mambo provincial administration tulitoa kwa katiba. Hatutaki mambo ya provincial administration tena. Tunataka hiyo chini ya serikali ya county ya Wanga. Ama sivyo? Ama mnataka kurudisha askari Kanga? Mambo ya provincial administration tulitupa na katiba. Kwa hivyo nataka ugatuzi ifanye kazi. Tunataka namna hiyo. Nataka namna hiyo. Kwa hivyo hapo sisi tuko na tofauti kwa kimaoni, lakini hiyo si hoja. Kitu muhimu zaidi ni ya kwamba kazi inaendelea. Kazi imeendelea, tunataka iendelee. Tunataka mabarabara zijengwe, mashule zijengwe sawa sawa, mahospitali na dispensaries zote ziwe zinafanya kazi sawa sawa, ili watu wetu wakiwa wagonjwa wanapata matibabu. Tunapigana na maadui matano makubwa ya binadamu. Kwanza, haki ya maisha, right to life. Pili, haki ya kupata chakula. Kama wewe uko na njaa mpaka upate chakula, right to food, sio? Tatu, haki ya kuwa na malazi, nyumba. Kama wewe umekuwa mtu mzima mpaka uwe pale unaishi, usikae kama wewe unakaa tu kama swara. Tunalala nje, unaomba. Sawa sawa. Nne, haki ya matibabu. Kama wewe ni mgonjwa, uweze kupata huduma ya matibabu haraka kabisa inawezekana. Tano, ni haki ya kupata elimu, right to quality education. Hayo yote ndio yanaitwa fundamental human rights na tunapigania. Ni sababu mimi naunga mkono hii juhudi ya serikali ya kupigana hayo maadui yetu matano katika taifa letu. Nataka watu wetu nao waungane pamoja, tuendelee mbele. sivyo? Ndio tulisema tunataka kukuwa na broad based government, tulikubali, tukapeleka watu yetu, tumeweka pale Opiyo Wandayi, tumepeleta Mbadi Nyang', ameshikilia mambo ya pesa. Simemona, tuko na mama wetu mmoja kule tumeweka kama ni mkuu wa sheria. Simemona yule mama, simemona yule. Tuko hapo na Hassan Joho, simnajua Hassan Joho. Tuko nayo Paranya, simnajua hapo Paranya. Na mama mmoja anatoka kule upande ya Turkana, naita school. Wameingia ndani ya broad based government ili waende pale wafundishe watu vile kufanya kazi. Vile vile tuko hapa na kijana wenu hapa Oluga, Dr. Oluga, ndiye anasimamia mambo ya matibabu, na nimemwambia yeye hakikisha kwamba hii mambo ya SHA inafanya kazi. SHA inafanya kazi kwa watu wetu, sawa sawa. Na Mbadi vile vile hakikisha kwamba pesa inagawawa kwa njia ya haki, pembe zote za Kenya wanapata haki yao. Hata hapa vile vile mnapata haki yenu. Manake muda mrefu sana mnakuwa na baguliwa. Wengine wanasema ni wao ndio pale, ati wao ndio shareholders. Na serikali ya shareholders. Shareholders ya mama yako. Kila Mkenya ni shareholder. Manake kila Mkenya anatoa ushuru. Mama akaenda pale kwa duka akinunua chumvi, ametoa ushuru. Ukinunua sigara, toa ushuru kubwa kabisa. Ukiweka ile one for the road ndani yake. Sasa hiyo ninataka serikali ifanye wewe huduma. Siseme ya kwamba sisi tulipiga kura pande hii, sisi ndio shareholders. Naingia ndani, wengine wako na share mingi zaidi, wengine wana share kidogo, wengine hawana share. Na wewe unasema wewe unataka kuongoza Kenya. Wewe ni mna gani? Wewe ni mnyama, wewe si binadamu. Wale watu tunasema hawa hatuwezi kuungana na watu kama hawa. Watu ambao wanaleta ubaguzi inaweza kuleta mapigano mpaka ikaleta mapinduzi katika taifa.
Hii Technical Training College tungejenga miaka 10 iliyopita, lakini haikuwezekana. Nataka nimshukuru mjumbe wenu Martin, kwa sababu yeye ndiye amepanga hiyo maneno hapa. Tunaelewana? Kutoka hazina ya CDF wametupatia, huyu Martin na kamati yake wametupatia shilingi milioni 10. Na mimi na huyu John Mbadi tutawapatia milioni 40 ya kujenga hiyo college mpaka hiyo college ikamilike. Na vile vile tukimaliza kujenga college, mimi nitatumana waziri wa mambo ya manyumba wakuje wajenge hapa hostels ya watoto wetu watakaosomea hapa katika college hii ya Ndhiwa. Ndio mimi nawaambia wale watu wa kisirani na chuki na mambo ya ukabila ya kwamba saa hizi sio nafasi ya kugawanya Wakenya na siasa ya tupu na ya upuzi. Saa hii ni kazi iendelee na ni kazi bila break. Tunaelewana? Wale wanataka tuendelee na siasa mfululizo, sisi tunawaambia ni kazi bila break. Nyinyi watu wa au Mabei mnasema nini? Kazi bila break. Kazi bila break. Kazi bila break. Kazi bila break. Bas, hapo ndio sisi tuko.
Haya, hapo ndio sisi tuko. Brother Ben, uko pande gani? Nilitaka kucheza hizo video zote, ndio kwa maana ndio nikazicheza, tusizicheze tena. Your audio brother.
Father ameenda.
Father inakaa ni wakati wake wa kuchukua ile misa ya asubuhi inaitwa.
Okay. Tunamshukuru sana kwa kukuja. Labda kulikuwa na swali nilikuwa nataka kumuuliza na kwa bahati mbaya ametoka.
Anasikia kule kwa background.
So you know, and I told you if you're very keen the politics are started, but
Yes.
now there's a thin line. I don't know how I can understand it, because like if you listen to the president is talking about other people who are talking about ule anataka kugawanya watu kwa namna ya chuki na all that, so that's where now we I don't know how we can put that, because if you disagree with somebody, does it mean that you are dividing the people?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because those are they also have their art of politics that they are doing, yeah. And I know this is like the president has started the campaign, and there's also when Raila Odinga talked, and he talked about siwezi kusema, hiyo ni maneno ambayo siwezi sema about I don't know how it sounds, or it was just a joke, but in the public, we know Rigathi Gachagua was the only person who was talking about the shares, and now is bringing in Rigathi Gachagua's mother. I don't know how it sounds anyway, but that is politics. Maybe that is just like on a light note. They know how they do their politics. But something that also I derived from this, and I told you earlier, that if you listen to the talks everything that President William Ruto was saying was was a political motivated, because it's all about, because he talked about 10 years ago this technical college, he has talked about that technical college. It means who was in charge 10 years ago, yeah, and who was the MP then. So those are some of the things that you have to look. But I tell you, the politics art of Raila Amolo Odinga, when you look at the art of politics of right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga, there is no any other leader that will play that political art. Yeah. And I think President William Ruto is riding on the footsteps of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. And what do? Bring Raila closer to power, and you will be safe. And that's what is happening. And another thing that we've observed, for the days that President William Ruto has been in Nyanza tour, his deputy is not there. Yeah. Yeah. And what does that one tells you? One, it tells you that he's trying to maybe to avoid what happened between him and Rigathi Gachagua. Remember, before impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua, the first time they went to Kisumu, I think there was that bit of tension, and people thought like, okay, Rigathi Gachagua is not going to get that warm reception. But what happened? Actually, Rigathi is some kind of like people received him well. Then another thing is also pointing at you. How strong is Kindiki? As president is continue launching the mega projects in Nyanza, Mr. Kithure Kindiki, the deputy president, is in central Kenya because he was in Embu having business engagement with the people and giving out some cash, because remember he met with the musicians, yeah, and met with the small business organizations.
Yeah, they are dishing out cash kabisa,
Yeah.
and they need to go in each and every constituency.
Yeah, but you see, like the president is more or less concentrated on the central Kenya. But now you come and ask the question, why central Kenya? That is one. Does it mean that it's only in central Kenya that whereby we have those who need to be promoted or have that bottom-up economic empowerment? That is one. Two, you ask yourself, do you think that Kindiki can match the influence of Rigathi Gachagua in central Kenya? Yeah. Do you think that one can happen? Two, you will ask yourself, what is the position of Kindiki, especially when you're looking at the formation, because the formation is coming. And the formation, if you look at on how our coalition usually works, is that the larger the numerical, the better position you do what? You get. Yeah. So based on what is happening with the influence of Rigathi Gachagua, do you think Kindiki will deliver the Mount Kenya votes to President William Ruto? Will that one qualifies him to be
Kindiki needs to concentrate on Meru first, even before thinking about concentrating on Mount Kenya, on the other parts of Mount Kenya.
So that one tells you like Kindiki is working under, I think he's working under pressure so that he can deliver, and even to show his boss that he's bringing Mount Kenya back. And how do you want to do it? You want to do it on the small businesses and musicians and all that. But that is the same tactic that the president used the other time, and it backfires. So I think Mr. Kindiki right now, I think, is walking under a tightrope, to me, politically, when I'm looking at it, because you want to encounter Rigathi Gachagua. And if you want to encounter Rigathi Gachagua, how are you going to manage that? The person who was supposed to help Kindiki and also is not finding it easy is Kimani Ichung'wah. How many times has Kimani Ichung'wah gone to, or maybe shared a podium with Kindiki in Central Kenya, and he ended up being heckled? Yeah. And as the father said, those MPs who have decided to take a cold feet, they don't want to show where they are, you know? So how is that one going to be possible?
I think the politics in central Kenya will follow what Rigathi Gachagua is saying. Until maybe William Ruto has got some miracle that is going to play towards the end of this of his term to bring in the central Kenyan people. Maybe a rift with between him and Raila Odinga can bring back the central folk. You never know. You never know. You never know. Some people are saying that Central are annoyed with William Ruto because he's working with Raila Odinga. There's also another section of thought that is thinking in that direction. But one thing I know for sure
Mhm.
is that one Rigiji has been a thorn in the flesh. Nobody, did any of you imagine that Rigiji would be surviving up to today? And is be a subject of each and every politician. And by the way, sorry that for that clip that Honorable Raila Odinga was saying those bad words.
No,
But
that one is
again,
something that I cannot say.
yeah, we will not mention it, but we apologize to our viewers that it was not our intention to hear such vulgar. We don't do that here on Africa, and we apologize to our viewers back at home. I know Bwana is called Rigiji will answer one Raila Odinga
That
within
is
the
on
next
Sunday.
24 hours.
Wait on Sunday.
I
Thank God.
oh my God. I don't know. He will answer that within 24 hours. Rigiji achelewi.
Eh,
Amechokoza nyuki bana. Rigiji atamjibu on behalf of whoever he was insulting. But anyway, let us just go back to the reality and look at the politics the way it is. Things that are shaping up the way Ben you have said. Everybody has taken sides right now at the moment. If elections were held in Central Province, then they would vote for Gachagua allies. And we keep on reminding you viewers that Gachagua has not indicated that he's going to vie for the presidency of
yes.
Kenya.
Yeah.
So don't be mistaken by propaganda running down that Gashagwa is indeed vying. Gashagwa is not vying. The only person that so far who has declared their interest for the presidency of the Republic of Kenya is one joker called Salasia and William Ruto. So far, William Ruto has got only one opponent who has publicly declared and started campaign, and of course Kalonzo ule amekuwa each and every time ako kwa ballot, and vile father amesema the opposition needs to organize themselves very very well in order to beat William Ruto in the next
Yeah.
election.
I agree with you, Mzalendo, because you can say one term, but that one term by mouth cannot, because one thing that people should not, especially like President William Ruto, do not underestimate that guy. Do not. In terms of political mobilization, even to campaign, President William Ruto can campaign because one, he has the money. Two, he can hire choppers. He can do like 10 even rallies in a day because he has choppers that, secondly, he is the incumbent. He enjoys the state resources. you know. So taking him out of or defeating him, it will require the opposition to be united, and some of them will have to forgo their selfish interest. And especially I was looking at the scenario of Kalonzo Musyoka. If you look at Kalonzo Musyoka, for instance, how many times has Raila Odinga nominated Kalonzo Musyoka to be like his running mate? Is it
Many times, twice.
yeah? So yeah, talk about twice. That is 10 years, if to say, right? And now the 15th time he was not nominated, but he was promised to be the prime minister post, which was not even existing, right?
Mm.
Now, take for example, in the scenario of the coalition that they might be having, the opposition, in the event that they give Matiang'i, I'm just saying, in the event they give Matiang'i to be the president, which means Matiang'i is going to do how many years? 10.
Mm? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So 10, how many years is Kalonzo going to be outside?
Mm-hmm.
And what about when you look at President William Ruto? President William Ruto will allow to go for how many terms? 1 term, which is 5 years. So which one can be the better bet for him to wait? Should you wait for 10 or wait for 5?
Wow. In
So
our politics, you never know.
yeah, so that's I was thinking, and I was weighing up option, and I said that in the event he doesn't get the presidency or he don't get the ticket in the loyal opposition, which means he will have to wait for the 10 years for that presidency. If it is Matiang'i or any other person to go for 10 years, then he can think of becoming a president. And there's so many things that will change then after 10 years. Age-wise, the demographic, especially that you'll be dealing with, the two will change. But now, so 10 years, then you're still not sure whether you're going to be the president. But now look on the other side. If in case President Ruto tells him, okay, come, let's work together. I only have 5 years, then I will support you in the next general election. Where will you go? You look in terms of you're looking at the years.
All right, Ruto's side.
Yeah, that's possible.
Yeah, there's a possibility. There's always a possibility, and these leaders also they have their supporters who they listen to.
Yeah.
So their supporters can tell you, we want to be in government this time, and you'll find Alonso's group joining government. Anyway, we take a break, and when we come back, we are winding up this edition of the weekly recap. I hope that before we wind up, there's one more story that I just want you to touch, Brother Ben, and that is the story of Ngugi wa Thiong'o that
Oh,
happened this week. We cannot forget that as we close our session this evening.
yeah.
This for
All right, don't forget to watch the Dimba La Afrique 24 and participate in the analysis that is coming this Sunday, post analysis on the finals between PSG and Inter Milan. So make sure that you are part of the conversation with the wonderful panelists led by Cortez. Lady Cortez akianalyze mpira pale, utafurahia sana sana. So make sure that you are part of that discussion. Brother Ben, tafadhali, we cannot forget our hero,
Yeah.
somebody who transformed this society, and that is one Ngugi wa Thiong'o. Yes.
And something that I read about him, he like how he was exiled. He was in exile for quite a long time, and and some of the books he authored uh, were very, very good books, storybooks. And I know is one person who advocated for the local dialect, especially like if kuna mahali alikuwa anasema kwamba kama hujapenda lugha yako basi inakaa you are enslaved, but if you know your language and no other language, then that one is what you are empowerment, something of the sort. But like he was somebody who was fighting for the rights of the people and fighting also for independence, But the only thing that we can say, we pray for the family, and and may the good God give them strength at this particular time that they are mourning the great hero of Kenya, who is their father. And may God bless them, and may God give them strength.
Yeah, yes. Even as we draw this evening to close the program, I want to pause and pay a tribute to a towering pillar in African literature and thought, Ngugi wa Thiong'o, more than a writer. Ngugi was a revolutionary writer in his spirit, who shaped the narrative of our continent. Born in the struggle of colonial Kenya and forged in the crucible of the Mau Mau uprising, his words carried the weight of history and hopes to the Kenyan people. Through masterpieces like, if you didn't know some of his books, like Whip Not a Child, The River Between, and The Petals of Blood. He not only chronologically the past of his past, but he showed us the path toward reclaiming uh, our culture and identity. Ngugi was bold. He was a bold decision maker. And when he wrote his English, people, uh, read it from all walks of life, especially in Africa. And to his native Gikuyu was an act of deviance. And of course, he loved his community so much. So tonight, as we honor his memory, let us remember his words, his courage, and his unwavering commitment to the truth. His life reminds us that the power of storytelling is our most potent tool to challenge the past and shape the brighter future for our nation and the world. Ngugi wa Thiong'o once said, "The writer's duty is not to be applauded or admired, but to inspire thought and promote charity." Today, we celebrate a man who did just that, a true giant who lived a full life and fought for the good of everyone in our society. So rest in peace, Ngugi wa Thiong'o. And thank you guys for who have been here with us in on this particular channel.
Mzalendo,
Yes,
let me say sorry to Gibson Corner.
yes. What did Gypsy say?
But before you close, there are things that you need to watch, and this is something that I'm telling you. To going towards celebration on
Yes.
Monday. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Hey, guzia kidogo bana. Unajua
Kitu
you come from the lakeside yo.
kitu najua itakuwa mzuri kuliko zote,
Ehe.
entertainment. Hiyo nane.
Entertainment. Angalia vile umeweka mkono entertainment. Jaluo.
Entertainment.
Yeah.
I've
Hapo.
been having some conversation with quite a few
Uh-huh.
of those who are involved in entertainment.
Hebu niambie what we expect bwana.
No,
Hebu bring us to speed.
one of the things that Oangla is going to be,
Madaraka Day Oangla.
yes, and
Prince Inda will Prince Inda be in the house?
I think Prince Inda will be there. Papati. There's also Kakatalanta. There's also the ones that are doing gospel, and it's going to be fire. They're trying to. You remember the one that happened in Kisumu?
Yes, lakini one thing I know, hiyo Kisumu itakuwa shadow bwana.
No, I'm telling.
Do you know the governor of Homa Bay? That is where she thrives most.
And
Entertainment. Eh?
that's why, like, I'm telling you, even like he started to host them, like something like 3 weeks ago, all the comedians from Homa Bay, all who is who in the Luo industry, especially when it comes to entertainment.
Yes.
I'm telling you,
They're already in town.
they are there.
Wako hapo.
Sasa kitu,
Wamekalia wanangojea tu hiyo siku. And they
kitu
have been
ambacho
entertaining people, but I'm told that all the rooms have been booked, kila kitu imebukiwa, BNB zote, people are spilling over to Kisii everywhere.
I tell you, and remember
Yani,
then
unajua
again,
Homa Bay saizi kuna traffic ya chopa. Traffic. Unaona
ya
traffic ya
traffic ya
chopa.
chopa. Yes.
Yani unaambiwa hiyo ni chopa ya mzalendo inakuja, tafadhali clear
We are not
the skyways.
we are not coming by road.
We are not coming by road.
We are landing.
Airplanes, unaona Joe anaingia na ndege yake personal, personal. Hapo kutakuwa tu na German machine.
Yes,
German machine.
Then another thing also that is going to happen again is on Tuesday. There's going to be Mashemeji Derby. So Homa Bay
Kogalo, Homa Bay iko lit. Kogalo versus
FC Leopard.
Kogalo versus FC Leopard. Put a bet, nani atashinda hiyo derby?
Unajua hapo ni ngumu sana.
Lakini kocha rafiki yangu Zedi Ziko ni mtu tumecheza naye mpira kidogo. Ananitaga kocha wa Sia Sungura na mimi namuita
and just to tell our viewers again, when Gor Mahia will be playing in Homa Bay, they will be playing where the Gor Mahia, Gor Mahia comes from Homa Bay County, the Gor Mahia himself.
The Gor Mahia, you know the story of Gor Mahia. Gor Mahia comes from where I hail from.
Yes.
Gor Wodo Gallo.
Yeah. Gor Wodo Gallo.
Yes, that is where Gor comes from. So even the ring road that William Ruto is launching is after Gor Mahia, the origin of Gor. And remember, there's a tale. Well, let me tell you a tale that wewe ulikuwa pengine kijana mdogo bado uko unavaa madaipa hivi huko wanaelewa. Unajua mchezaji anaitwa Peter Dao.
Peter Dao. Yeah. Nimemsikiza huyo.
Gor ikichukua Mandela Cup. Ulikuwa wapi?
Mimi labda sijui kama nilikuwa nimezaliwa kweli, lakini tumekuja kusikia stories zake.
Ndio nakwambia wewe ni kijana mdogo bana, wewe sikiza maneno ya wazee ndio wewe.
Lakini unajua kuna anko yangu ambaye alichezea Gor Mahia wakati wa Peter Dao, alikuwa anaitwa Tobias Maira.
Tobi namjua, Tobi tunamjua vizuri sana. Sasa wakati Gor kabla waende walicheza wapi? Tunisia, Esperance. Gor Peter Dao mmoja.
Huyo.
Ilibidi Gor kila game kubwa wakienda kucheza inabidi waende pale huko Kanyamua huko pale Gor Manzilishi. Wakachukua zile madumba madawa za wachezaji watengenezwe. Ndio waende. Sasa kule ilikuwa imesemekana
maliza alafu nikuulize.
Go ahead.
Unataka kuniambia katika kucheza mpira la miguu kuna ushirikina?
Lazima. Wewe bana, Waafrika hii ni vitu tu, kama siasa iko sasa mpira itakosaje? Wewe kama pasta mwenyewe ni mshirikina, sasa wewe unaongea nini bwana?
Lakini okay, mzalendo nafaa tufunge, lakini jambo ambalo mimi niko nalo ni kwamba ikifika pale pa burudani
Emmanuel Abol tajiri. Uko wapi bana Emmanuel? Nice to see you. This is my good friend from Siaya kule pale. Hawana maendeleo hata kidogo bana kule Siaya, lakini
hawana maendeleo
rafiki yangu sana Emmanuel.
Wanataka kutoa Orengo. By the way, did you see on the Orengo was also in the meeting though? Did you see Orengo and Anyang' Nyong'o? They were there, but they took a low profile. They were normal.
Unasikia Zip Kona ashaanza kukumbuka wachezaji wake. Miki Weche huyo alikuwa anachezea FC Leopards. Au sasa unakumbuka kida Miki Weche, Mulamba, kuna Joka Denge. kuna nani mwingine anaitwa John Shotolukoye hao ndio walikuwa wamebobea wakati huo, wakati wa
Unajua hapa ndio saa zingine mimi huwa nashangaa kila wakati tunasema kwamba tunasherekea mashujaa, lakini wale ambao walituweka katika ramani la nchi lakini ramani la ulimwengu
yeah.
huwa tunapata kwamba tukisherekea Mashujaa Day hawa watu waonekani ama hawatajwi, na unapata kwamba baada ya kucheza na kuweka nchi katika dunia, unapata kwamba maisha yao inarudi na kuwa maisha yenye si mzuri sana. Juzi kate tu niliona huyu alikuwa anaitwa nani, huyu mwenye alicheza Harambee Star wakati wa Renat Fabish, nilimuona nimesahau jina yake.
Alikuwa mkabila gani? Pengine utaniambia.
Alikuwa anatoka huku Coast, kama anatoka Coast, sijui.
Anatoka Coast.
Kuna show, I will look for that clip.
But anyway, ile concerned ni welfare ya wachezaji. Welfare ya wachezaji. You know football, soccer, I always say soccer is a profession. Just like any other profession, like teaching, nani, kuwa daktari, kuwa mwandishi. Soccer player ni profession. It should be managed by professionals, you know. That is why a soccer player has got somebody called a doctor, an agent, ule anamwangalia anamfanya nini to negotiate for him. Na pia akona mtu anamuinvestia pesa zake. You know, the highest people paid today in the sports industry are people like Messi, Ronaldo. They are paid a lot of money. So the moment we take soccer seriously, it can be a very big employment honor to the country.
Let me ask you a question,
Yes.
because like you are somebody who is in the especially like when it comes to soccer field, where do we go wrong, especially with our players, especially when it comes that you had like you are lucky enough to have international contract and you get this payment and you go do your professional game, you come back home and you find that the investment to sustain you along the way you lose all the investment.
Yeah, that is where professionalism comes in. Once you start making the dollars, you know, these are players who most of the time they didn't have education in handling money. All right. That so you need a manager to manage your affairs. You need an investor to tell you that this is where you need to invest some of this money, and you pay them to work for you. That is why you find professional players like those in Europe. Some mismanage their money through gambling or through addiction and pesa ikapotea. Yeah, so it requires a good discipline to be a sportsman. People like Oliech, they were not very disciplined in terms of how much they were earning, and the people they hired then to be their managers when he was in his prime, he hired his relatives. So those were not managers who could manage the money that he was getting. So akikuja pale amekuja na ka Chrysler nini nini, yeye kazi ni kujivinjari na wadada pia wamwachi kando bana, kina mayai pepe wamwachi. So unapata most of the players at the end of the day they don't get returns even when they retire. They have got nothing to cling on. But again, domestically, we want our league to improve in such a manner that it becomes lucrative and competitive. The Kenyan league is not very, very competitive. That is why our standard when it comes to the national team is very, very low, because the league is not competitive.
Okay, now you've talked about our standard in the league is not competitive because I usually say when I usually compare us to Tanzania, I'm looking at Simba and Yanga, and when these two teams are playing, Simba and Yanga, you feel like the whole country is like our FC playing with Gor Mahia, you know. But like when you look at the treatment that the Simba players and the younger players, even like Azam, especially the Premier League, the teams in Tanzania, if you look at the treatment they get as compared to what we get, even their board that is in charge of the soccer is working more effectively. What can we learn from them?
Yeah, you see, Simba and Yanga are run as a company.
Yeah.
All right, they are
Mm-hmm.
run professionally, and
Mm-hmm.
that is the difference between Simba and a team like Gor Mahia that is just run like a village club. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it is now when they are trying to get their acts together for their very longest, so the longest time. A team
Yeah.
like Gor Mahia does not even have its own pitch.
Where
Uh,
they can train.
yes, they don't even have. It means that even the money that they collect, hata wajua wanafanyiaga nini, unanielewa?
Mm.
They should have been having somebody who is able to tell them that whatever you collect, invest in a bank that will develop for you a pitch and a place for your players to stay, because that is one of the teething problems that these clubs normally have. And
Mhm.
again, the revenue source for clubs is normally from the fund. So Gor Mahia and FC, they have a good fan base, but it
Yes,
is
yeah.
not good enough to compare to clubs like Yanga and Tanzania, who have really invested in their players and in the quality that their fans want to see on the pitch.
Okay, now talking about revenue, because there was a time. Remember when Gore was play when they took the Tuzo, when they had the Tuzo. Before that, Gore used to have like jerseys whereby like everybody insisted that okay, for you to be on the Gore side, you need to have either one of the jersey, white, blue, provided that it has Gore colors. And during those days, people bought a lot of jersey for Gor Mahia, but the merchandise, they were not distributed by one person. Everybody was distributing this, and with the revenue they were getting could not, I think, could not hit uh, what they were supposed to expect.
Mhm.
Have they corrected that, whereby they have like a retail whereby if for you to buy a Gore merchandise or a FC merchandise, there's a place you go to, or there are people whom they have given the license to do their jersey and merchandise for their revenue collection.
Yes, there are specific areas where you can buy the genuine
The genuine
Gor
ones.
Mahia
Yeah.
jersey. The fans who watch the game can tell us in the comment section where are there designated places or shops where you can buy the Gor Mahia jersey. So, for just as you said, at one point, Tuskies were selling the original jerseys for Gor Mahia, but there's a lot of counterfeit. Again, that is what is affecting
Mhm.
our teams. They can't raise enough revenue to support the clubs. And you look, I like this is the only time I like tribalism when it comes to soccer. Soccer, I said, should be devolved to the county levels, like what is going to happen in Oma Bay. The Luo community will support their team called Gormaya, and when they go to the next derby, should be played in Bukungu, where they will play against FC Leopards in a ground where Luyas are there. And next, when they are playing, a long time ago, we used to have teams like Meru Bombers. I know that time you are very young. We used to have a team called Scarlet from Nakuru. We used to have Akati uh,
Mm.
from Central Province. We used to have. I've told you about Mafuko Bombers. We had Chabana, which
I
came
know.
back in the league. So we
Mhm.
had Chabana, and we had Louis Reunion, which was
What about Kisumu Poster?
Kisumu Poster came from Kisumu, and we had Steamer also in Kisumu. So
Okay.
those are teams that were very very. We had also Waterworks. Yeah,
Mm.
those are teams which were very very very
What about
strong.
Rivertex?
River Talks came from Eldoret. So you
Mm.
see how the teams were divided. So when
Okay.
you go to play with the Rivertex in Eldoret,
Yes.
nakwambia hapo hamtoki na points tatu, mtawekwa mabao. Na Gypsy Corner, thank you for reminding me of all these players. I played. You wouldn't believe, but I played Michael Koth when he was in Itirio. In fact injury yangu ya kunitoa kwa mpira nilikanyagwa magoti na Montego, hii magoti karudi pande hii. That was the end of my career in soccer. But Michael Koth was a very very good goalkeeper, and at the same time he could transition to a striker and play up front. I remember the game between Burkina Faso and Harambee Stars at Nyayo, not Nyayo, at Kasarani. That game is one of the games that I will always remember in Kenyan soccer, where we came from behind. It was 3 something, and the game ended up 4-3. That game was very very interesting, and Michael Kott
Mhm.
scored a goal then.
Mhm.
So those are the days when soccer was soccer. And the soccer, I say that apart from just looking at the clubs, Mr. Ben,
Yeah.
soccer should be devolved in into in schools, right from primary school. Soccer should be taught on a serious basis. Sports should be taken seriously. That people who are talented in a particular fields like volleyball, like
Mhm.
athletics, like soccer, they should be encouraged, and the schools should have the facilities. What we lack is proper infrastructure.
Yeah.
So the
Mhm.
county governments, as much as they are laboring to improve on other sectors, they
Mhm.
have got a good allocation for sports, and that allocation should go to the improvement of the grounds in those particular schools, so that there's a good transition from early childhood, like 8 years old onwards,
Mhm.
people to learn the basics of soccer, such that
Okay.
it is. I told you it's a curriculum. You are not going to be taught how to pass a ball when you are at the age of 21. That is something that you should have learned a long time. When a professional coach is coming
Yeah.
from Europe,
Yeah.
you don't expect him to start teaching you how to control a ball. You know,
But
yeah,
now I agree with you, and I want to bring it to our members of parliament because there are seasons where members of parliament have all these tournaments,
yeah.
and these tournaments have always been played and been played and been played, and during the playing when these tournaments are being activities of this tournament are going on, there are good players that are on the ground. But what our members sometimes of parliament do, they don't bring even scouts to come and scout for this boy. So you find that there's a guy who is so much talented in the village and play so smartly, but each time you come with this money, you give them in the name of we are nurturing talent. How can you nurture that talent? And this guy has been playing for over 5 years, yeah, and you've been given money. So what do you think you personally you can do, especially like members of parliament when they are having this their tournaments,
I
because I
I
know
I
it's part of campaign.
I think when members of parliament are having this, and it happens mostly in Luo Nyanza,
Yeah.
and where we have got these soccer tournaments organized by the local leaders. The MC has got a tournament, the MP has got a tournament, the women rep is organized a tournament, the governor is organizing a tournament. What I say is that these people don't think, they don't have brains, because one, after that tournament there is nothing that goes beyond that tournament. That is
Yes.
the end of it, and
Yes.
you have not even invited scouts to nurture talent, especially at the grassroots. What I emphasize on is that soccer should be they should play like where I come from. Oma Bay has got how many wards? They have got I think 40 wards. Yeah.
Mhm.
So what they need to do is that among these wards which are there, each and every particular uh, MCA, because they have got a budget that they have passed in the county assembly, running to around almost 400 million. That is the money that you see they give out for them to go and organize those tournaments.
So this
That
400
amount
million, this 400 million is for one
is for
MCA.
it is that money is for sports development
Okay.
in the county, and this money is what they hiyo ndio wanakula, hiyo ndio pesa wanakula through corruption. But what they
Mm.
need to have is a league that runs from January and ends in December, played across the county. That
Yes.
way, they sustain the momentum, and a coach or a scout is able to come and know that on this particular day, or on this is the season for soccer in Homa Bay. This is the
Yeah.
season for soccer in Migori. This is the season for soccer in Kisumu, especially the local league is being played in
Mhm.
these particular areas. So I need to go and scout for players. Without that, we are going to have what we have in Kenya, trying to struggle to play in the African Cup of Nations, but we don't know the root cause. We think that it is the players, but the root cause, it is us. We have decided not to manage soccer from the grassroots, not to manage. But I think Hussein Mohammed and Mariga, especially Hussein, he understands about grassroots football and is going to make a difference in that sector, the new management.
Ukiwa na connection, leta huyu jamaa tumuulize maswali. Tunataka kujua how are they going to release.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hussein Super 8, kama unanisikia, tunakuhitaji hapa Afrika, utuelezee
eh,
utuelezee kwa upana ama kwa urefu ama kwa ufupi,
ama
ni mikakati gani unayo ya ku enhance how the county governments and the FKF League are going to have a kind of collaboration so that
kuenhance
yeah.
kwa Kiswahili tu nikusaidie kuboresha.
Mswahili msemi, hawa Wajaluo Kiswahili si mdomo chetu, lakini kwa hayo machache tunamaanisha tumemaliza kipindi chetu. Kwa wale wana attend kile Madaraka Day, ile kitu ile tunasema na msifanye, msipatie Dipo Kuome microphone ya kuongea Kiswahili. Kuna watu wale wasiongee Kiswahili. Kuna MC wangu anaitwa Umo Gindo, huyo asiongee Kiswahili hata kidogo, au wasikaribie mikrofoni. Microphone na Kiswahili ni nini bana, ndugu yangu?
Sijui microphone, sijui.
Wewe Kiswahili bana, hujui microphone ni nini? Microphone ni nini na Kiswahili? Wewe nawapatia dakika 5 munipatie jibu, microphone ni nini, ama tumalize hii show kabla mtu aniambie.
Hata juzi
Microphone bana kinaitwa kipaza sauti. Yes, sawa. Ndio inaitwa microphone.
Hata juzi nilikuwa nimesikia, lakini sikuandika AI kwa Kiswahili. AI kwa Kiswahili.
Ben bana, pale unanishindia pia, kuna mahali na kushindia.
Nimekubali.
Asikubali kushindwa si msindani. Kuna watu nimewaambia pale Madaraka Day Adipo Kuome, hiyo ni persons living with disabilities in Kiswahili. No way. Majority leader Homa Bay, no way. Yeye kwanza sasa yeye ni no go zone.
Bwana usitulimit bwana. Unajua Tomisika anatoka huko bwana, usituwe limit wa bwana. Usitulimit bwana.
Au round hii watapatia Atomi sifa Sifa pia tuimbie hapo kidogo pia kama kijana wa Homa Bay atutumbukize. Hao
Yeah.
ndio vijana tunawaenzi tena tunawapenda sana, na kwa hayo yote msikose kuona Dimba na mkuje kwa analysis ya mpira. Nitakuwa pale kuelezea mambo ya mpira kidogo. Mimi naelewa kidogo mambo ya mpira, na mimi bado ni kocha wa mpira. Tafadhali
Okay.
watizedi mwende polepole, mkumbuke niliwashinda kule kwenyu Tanzania, na bado ndarudi huko nichukue kikombe cha Arusha. Asanteni sana. Bolo rafiki yangu, asante sana for coming to the show. Emmanuel, asante sana. Nani tena, Gypsy, kama kawaida, you never disappoint. Father, thank you very much for stepping up into the podium. Danny, asante sana for being part of this particular conversation. Douglas, thank you. I hope you'll go back to Baringo and tell them mzalendo alisema hivi na hivi. Asante sana. Kizito, Father Kizito, thank you very, very much for your comments and being part of this Afriq broadcast. And those others who are watching us, Honorable Sean Gitao, asante
That's
sana.
my friend. Actually, Sean Gitao, he wanted to run for Komarok ward.
Huyu ni jamaa wa Koma. We kuja tukufanyia mobilization huko, ni kupahali mani, najua watu sana pale Komarok, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 3 ukule. Lakini siku hizi bana waria wamejaa pale Komarok bana, imekuwa Komarok si kama Komarok ile ya kitambo bana. Koma ilikuwa ni, unajua hiyo estate bana, ilikuwa estate ya kifahari sana. Ilikuwa ni estate ya kifahari sana pale Komarok. Wacha niwache na hao warembo kidogo wa hapa Afrika, and asanteni sana. Next
All right,
time.
thank you so much.
Thank you. Ama Ben, kuna mahali tumekosea?
No, kama kuna wale ambao labda tulikuwa tumewakwaza wakati ambao tulikuwa tunatoa maoni yetu, pia tunawaomba radhi.
Kama wewe ni mtu wa one term, tunakuombea pole. Kama wewe ni mtu wa 10 bila break, pia kama tumekosea, pole sana. Kama wewe ni no term, wewe baki hapo no term tu. Sisi bado tutazidi kueleza mambo ya siasa bila kubagua, na tuko na freedom of expression. Yeah, only on Dimba La Afriq24. Make sure that you make a date with us as we analyze the games this coming Sunday. Asante sana na muwe na asubuhi njema.